Right, we got something super special for you today, Fresh Coast fans. We're doing some Foodhammer terrain building prep. We got most of the gang here. We got Dustin, Phil, Muggins, and Tau Forever Adam are back there. Gene Guard is on his way over to Gamer Sanctuary to get some measurements for some of this stuff. We're going to be building some quick knockdown tables. We got lots of terrain to spray and paint. We got some foam board for some hills that I'll be taking care of today. Hopefully I'll try to get some more tutorial videos on how to do some quick and dirty foam terrain. We got trees being built. It's a nice fall afternoon. We're going to have the Michigan game on a little bit later. Should be a lot of fun today, so keep checking back. Alright, Fresh Coast fans, we're going to do a quick tutorial on how to make some simple foam board terrain. This is just 1.5 inch pink foam. Get it at any home supply store like Home Depot, Lowe's, whatever you got nearby. Buy big sheets because it's cheaper that way, and you can make a ton of terrain out of a full sheet. What I've done is I've cut it down a little bit. You can get them pre-scored, and they're easy to break that way. They're usually, I think, 8 by 12 sheets maybe. So if you got a big enough card to fit it in there, great. If not, just ask the guys at the counter to cut it down for you, and they'll do that. If you don't have it pre-scored, just get yourself a nice long packing knife like this and run yourself just down the edge, along the edge of a table, wherever you want it cut, and then just pick it up and snap it. It pops right in half. From there, we're going to go to step 2. So I've already got a whole bunch of blanks cut, and we're going to see what we're going to do with them in the next step.
All right, once we get our blanks cut out, it's a nice, maybe about 6 by 6 square. We're just going to use a jigsaw today to cut around the edges and make us a nice roundish looking shape. If you got a bandsaw at home, you could do a whole bunch of these at once, and just be sitting at your stool and just rocking out some tunes and whipping out some of these blanks really super fast. You can even take a lot of the scrap that we're going to end up with down here and turn those into little rocks with the bandsaw. A lot easier than you can with the jigsaw. A little dangerous to hold the jigsaw in one hand and a tiny piece of foam in the other. So I'm going to go ahead and cut this one out into a basic shape and then show you the next step. Alright, and that took all about 30 seconds to just cut that out with the jigsaw. Notice we're not going for perfect shapes. We've got just a very slight angle here. We're going to enhance it a little bit with some knife work in just a bit. But you want these to be kind of freeform. I mean, nature isn't perfect. You want things to be abstract looking, kidney shaped, funny swimming pool shapes, whatever you want. We're going to show you some of the big pieces that we're going to make as well. But this is kind of a single level 6 by 6 hill. It'd be just perfect for plopping in the middle of an objective or a middle of a board somewhere, or dropping on a bigger piece like some of the ones we have cut out, and I'll show you later. Next step, we're going to take just a straight knife. We're going to cut up the top edge a little bit just to make it look a little bit more pretty on the table. Alright, you can see I just took a straight knife, long packing knife, and just beveled down that top edge a little bit just to give it a little bit more definition and a nice clean tabletop surface. You can see some of the little chips we're taking out with the knife. We're going to clean all that up for today. We're just going to, like I said, this is going to be quick and dirty terrain because we got only a week to finish it. One of the chips that I've always used, you can take a hot knife if you've got a good one, or my favorite is just a soldering iron. Just a plain old cheap soldering iron that gets really hot and is very unsafe, because the more unsafe it gets, the more surface area you got. You got a lot of opportunity to kind of just run it along the edge here, melts down some of the foam. Wear a mask, the fumes are toxic, but that texture will smooth out these sharper edges, clean up all that fuzz, and leave you with a nice, really pretty textured piece of terrain that once you paint it up, the dry brush of the edges, and it'll stand out beautifully on a table. Alright, so I'm going to show you some bigger pieces and some of the other ideas we're going to be running for today. Alright, if you got slightly larger pieces, just cut them in half and then do the same thing with both sides. And that's something you have a larger piece that kind of fits together. You put them on the tabletop, looks like a nice fissure, something that definitely fits like a puzzle piece together on the table and looks great. I'm going to do some of this with some larger pieces too. It'll be a little harder to get them on camera though. Alright, Muggins just proposed an interesting topic here. He's asking if we think that in the 41st millennium they actually use lanes on their road. And then he posed the next question: do they drive on the right or the left? So put your answer in the comments below. Tell us what you think. Yeah, and of course, Back to the Future. Thank you, Phil. All right, let us know what you guys think. I just want to point out one quick piece of advice. Usually when you get the pink board like this, you've got the label printed on one side and the other side's blank. You want this to be your top. because when you roll your paint over it and flock it, the last thing you want to do is be able to see Owen's Corning popping up through the green flock, brown flock, whatever color you're using. Just safer to say, use this as your top. So always cut everything with this as your goal. This is the top piece. That's the bottom. Paint your bottom if you want. For today, I don't think we're going to bother because it's just a little more time consuming. But keep this as your top. That way you don't have the label showing through when you flock it. All right, just want to give you a shot of all the hills in their cutout stage. This is one sheet of foam. It's about $20 worth of pink foam. And just look at all the terrain you can make. You can take these bigger chunks, break them down into much smaller pieces. You got tons of scrap over here too. Actually, you can make little boulders out of, or other little maybe wall sections, whatever you want. $20, a jigsaw, and a packing knife. A little bit of paint and some flocking later. You got some really nice terrain. And that's one of the things that we really are proud of at Fresh Coast, the fact that we really try to embrace all aspects of the hobby, painting, modeling, gaming, and the terrain making. Our tables get lots of great compliments on the YouTube videos, and this is part of the reason why, because we actually take pride in the terrain we use and the things we put on the table. All right, so I'm going to keep working on these, and we'll tune back in when it's time to start painting. All right, here we are in the painting stage. I usually like to paint these in 2 stages. Today we're like I said, because we're doing kind of quick and dirty, I'm only going to be painting the edges, and then we'll come back and paint and flock the tops. And I'm just using a simple 2-inch roller. I'm going to take it, just go around just the edge and along the beveling, get a nice good thick coat of paint on there, and leave it upside to dry. Once it's dry, then we'll flip it back over, and we're going to actually use the same latex paint, and we're painting the side as our adhesive, and we're just going to flock over the top of the paint with whatever color flock we choose. Today we've got some choice between green and some sand, and the paint will actually do a very good job holding on to the flock. Once we're done with the painting, then we just spray it with a little bit of sealant, and we're good to go. All right, here we are. We've got everything past the first stage of painting. The sides of everything ready to go. We're going to start moving on and do some flocking. And once we get things moved back around here in the garage, we'll show you how we do that. And it's actually a very simple process, and it works really, really well. So I guess the point of this video, I'm trying to show some of you guys who don't feel like taking the effort to make some terrain at home, just how easy this stuff can be to do. Easy and cheap. All right, just want to get some shots and see what some of the other guys are working on. We got Bill over here making some tree bases, lots of pine trees. We got some wall sections, not lots of area terrain going on. Mike's been spray painting a lot of buildings. We got lots of Aegis defense lines and other gun emplacements going on over there. Back over here, you can see what Phil and Dustin have been working on for most of the day. Jeremy's helping. Jeremy showed up a little bit later to help us do some of the fine detail work. But we have, how many tables we got, guys? 2, 4, 6, 8. We got 8 of these tables. It's just a simple piece of plywood with some felt glued down on top. They're going to be nice, simple, cheap, and effective. So we're planning for some really good-looking tables, I guess, this weekend. All right, now that we got the sides painted, we just take a nice thicker layer of paint and roll it over the top nice and smoothly. You want a lot of paint so that you get good adhesion with the flock, and then just heavily sprinkle your flock on. You can use a sifter, you can go straight out of the jar like I did today. You want the flock to be nice and even. You don't want big chunks, but you want a lot of it because it's going to soak up through the paint, and it's going to stick really well that way. Once it's dry, give it a long time to dry, maybe overnight even, and then knock off the excess flock, do it in your bucket, so you can just pour it right back into your cup, and you have more to go. Just make sure you get all the little bits and pieces out that you don't want stuck on your terrain. We're actually going to have to pack it up for tonight. The paint on most of these are still drying. It's getting kind of late. So we're going to be coming back tomorrow to finish off flocking in the rest of these hills. And then we're going to dry brush the edges with like a bone color to make the details on the side pop. All right, here we are with some finished product. It's a couple days later. We haven't had a chance to do the video because I left my camera at Muggan's house. But all we did, took a lighter color dry brush. In this case, we used like a bone. Dry brush the highlights on the edge. You can see how if we had taken the hot knife and melted the edges, it would have been a lot more texture here, and the highlights would have popped out a lot more. But overall, I think we're pretty impressed.
We've got a lot of different sizes, so we can stack them up to make some nice blocking terrain and create a pretty cool tablescape. Alright, so that's it for this terrain tutorial. The next set of videos we're going to see is going to be all about Foodhammer. This is the morning of Foodhammer. We've got tables set up. I'm going to give you a quick tour in the next video and take a look at some of the prizes as well.